Hình như cô tao không ở nhà rồi. Tao ở hai thằng mày này. Hai mày có chắc chắn là cô tao ở đây không?
Chắc chắn anh ạ, hôm trước em chắc chắn là cô ta ở nhà này luôn.
Thế thì tao bảo hai thằng mày, ngày xưa ông này cũng là trùm ở đây, chúng mình không thể xông vào đấy được. Cô mày nề mặt.
Vâng, ok anh.
Này tôi chưa gặp bao giờ, tôi không biết, tôi không thấy cô đấy bao giờ thật mà. Chưa gặp bao giờ đâu.
Thực ra là không phải tự dưng chúng tôi đến đâu, mà là chúng tôi đã nhận được thông tin từ người dân là
Tôi không biết cô đấy thật mà. Chưa gặp bao giờ đâu.
Bác có biết là tội che giấu tội phạm nặng như nào? Tù bao nhiêu năm không?
Tôi thật sự chưa gặp cô đấy bao giờ mà. Tôi không biết thật mà.
The dawn creeps hesitantly over the village, the sky a heavy shroud of gray clouds that barely allow a sliver of light to touch the ground, illuminating C.O. James as he stands outside his faltering lumber mill. The air is dense with the sharp, damp scent of rain-soaked wood, a reminder of nature's unrelenting grip, and the uploaded photos reveal stacks of aged timber, untouched for over a week, their surfaces glistening with beads of moisture under the dim morning haze. James paces with a restless, almost frantic energy, his face etched with lines of deep concern, muttering to himself in a low, troubled tone. This mill's on the brink of collapse. No new wood for a week. How do I keep it alive when everything's falling apart? He fumbles with his phone, his voice tight with urgency as he calls his assistant. I'm going down there now. Call you later when I figure this out. The images capture a group of workers huddled near broken, rusted machinery. Their expressions a somber mix of frustration, despair, and resignation. The mill's once vibrant yard now cloaked in an eerie, oppressive silence that speaks of lost hope. Inside, the faint, mournful groan of old wood reverberates through the cavernous space, all sourced from the struggling hands of local suppliers, the supply reduced to a pitiful trickle by the relentless downpour that has plagued the region. Costs have skyrocketed beyond reason, and James massages his temples with weary fingers, the crushing burden of leadership threatening to overwhelm him. Suddenly, a figure emerges from the swirling mist. A man in a weathered jacket, his eyes glinting with a keen, almost predatory purpose. Who's there? James calls out, stepping forward with a mix of caution and curiosity. The man offers a rough, calloused hand, a faint smile breaking through his stern demeanor. I'm Wang. Heard this is a mill. Who runs it? James grips his hand firmly, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. Me. I own it. What do you want? Wang replies with a measured calm. I've got 50 tons of wood to sell. No takers yet, so I'm searching for a buyer willing to take a chance. James' interest ignites like a spark in the gloom as the photos show Wang pointing toward a mud-streaked truck parked in the distance, its tires caked with the earth's residue, a silent promise of potential salvation. 50 tons? He asks, his voice laced with cautious hope yet tempered by skepticism born of recent disappointments. Wang nods with assurance. From Bin Kim, about 100 kilometers away. It's Kyo and Mo 20 tons Mo 30 tons Kyo. I had a deal with Thailand, but they pulled out at the last minute. James ushers him inside with a gesture, the images revealing a cluttered workspace where tools lie scattered amidst towering mounds of sawdust and abandoned crates, a testament to the mill's decline. Let's talk inside. If it's good, we'll deal today. I need wood badly to keep this place running, he says, pulling out a rickety chair that creaks under Wang's weight. Wang sits, his posture relaxed yet calculated, explaining, it's been stored in a shed for a while. The cancellation left me stuck with no options. James pours tea from a dented, tarnished kettle, the steam rising in delicate tendrils through the chilly, damp air, and asks with a probing intensity, what's your price? Nguyen leans in, his voice dropping to a confidential hush. 1,100,000 vien per ton for Kio. 2,500,000 for MO. James nods, a glimmer of hope flickering in his tired eyes. Fair enough. The rains wrecked our transport lines and prices are insane. If you're legit, I'll take all 50 tons. I'll check the quality tomorrow. If it meets our standards, we buy. Nguyen hands over a crumpled piece of paper with his number scrawled in hasty ink. Call me. I'm in Bin Kim. James tucks it into his pocket, his mind racing with possibilities. This could save us. But why drop 50 tons now in this market? I'll need to be sharp and verify every detail before committing. Meanwhile, miles away in the heart of the village, Diep moves with determined steps through the narrow, muddy paths, the photos showing her cradling a basket brimming with freshly picked herbs, their vibrant green a stark contrast to the muted tones around her. She arrives at an elderly couple's humble home, a simple structure of wood and thatch, where the man grimaces in pain, his ankle swollen and discolored from a recent unfortunate fall in the slick fields. "Uncle, does it hurt a lot?" she asks, kneeling beside him with a gentle concern that softens her features. The old woman sighs, her voice trembling with a mix of worry and fatigue. "He slipped in the field this morning. Probably a sprain from the wet ground." The afternoon settles over the elderly couple's home with a palpable unease, the uploaded photos revealing 3 shadowy figures lurking just beyond the fragile bamboo fence, their hushed whispers cutting through the stillness like a blade. "She's not here," one mutters, his breath fogging in the cool air as he peers through the window at the empty room, his eyes darting nervously. The leader, a stocky man with a jagged scar tracing his cheek like a battle mark, turns to his crew with a growl. "You sure Diep's here? You swore she was in this house yesterday. Don't waste my time." They nod with forced conviction. "Positive, boss. She was inside with the old folks, we saw her." He grunts, rubbing his stubbled chin with a calloused hand. "That old man was a big shot once, we can't rush in like fools. Let's play police and see what we can shake loose." The images show them pinning on crude fake badges, their movements deliberate and rehearsed, as they finalize their deceptive plan with cold precision. Inside, the couple sits by a dim, crackling fire, the only sound the occasional pop of burning wood, when the door crashes open with a jarring thud that shatters the peace. "Who are you storming my house like this?" the old woman demands, rising to her feet with a surprising strength that belies her age, her eyes flashing with defiance. The leader steps in, his tone authoritative yet laced with a menacing undertone. "We're police. We need your help with a case, cooperate, and it'll go easy." She ushers them in warily, her posture rigid. "What's this about then?" He pulls out a crumpled photo from his pocket, holding it up with a sneer. "A criminal Diep is hiding here. Know her? She's wanted." The woman shakes her head with firm resolve. "Never seen her. I don't know this person." The man looms closer, his voice dropping to a threatening whisper. "Hiding her means prison time, lady, years behind bars. Speak or it gets ugly." She insists, her voice steady as a rock. "She's a stranger to us. Check all you want." The photos capture the escalating tension, the couple's faces tightening with confusion and rising anger as the leader smirks, his scar twisting with the motion. "Locals tipped us off. Don't lie, or we'll make this harder." The old man steps up, his voice a gravelly challenge that cuts through the room. "No one's here but us. Search if you dare, but you'll find nothing, waste your time." The fake officers begin their invasive rummage, the images showing a chaotic scene, overturned chairs, scattered cushions, a shattered clay lamp rolling across the floor, their search growing frantic with each empty corner. The old woman snaps, her hands planted on her hips. I said she's not here. Stop this nonsense and get out. The door creaks open with a slow, ominous groan. Diep's uncle enters, his broad frame filling the doorway, his presence a commanding force that silences the room. Who are you people barging in here? He roars, his eyes blazing with a protective fury. The leader stammers, sweat beading on his forehead. We're police chasing a fugitive, stand aside. The uncle steps forward, his voice booming like thunder. Show me your papers, warrants now or you're trespassing. The leader falters, his confidence crumbling. We forgot them today. We'll return with proper authorization. The uncle glares, his tone unyielding as steel. No papers, no search. I've seen real police work, this is a sham. Leave my house. The intruders flee, the photos showing their hasty retreat, boots slipping on the wet ground as they vanish into the mist. The uncle mutters to the couple, his voice low and firm. Fake cops. Say nothing about Diep next time, they're dangerous. Outside, the leader growls to his crew, his scar pulsing with rage. Nothing. We'll try again, smarter next time. In the depths of the forest, Diep navigates with careful steps, the images showing her basket filling with vibrant green herbs, her movements graceful yet purposeful. Lucky find, she whispers to herself, tucking the leaves safely inside with a satisfied nod. A child's laughter echoes through the trees as she passes a playful scene near a bubbling stream, and she pauses to smile, her heart lifting. Such a sweet kid. Bring some light to this heavy day. The sun dips low on the horizon, casting long, jagged shadows across the path, and she spots a familiar truck parked near a bend, its outline familiar against the fading light. Is that James' car? She calls, waving eagerly with a spark of recognition. James steps out, his face lighting up with surprise. Diep? What are you doing out here? She brushes hair from her face, explaining with a tired smile. Uncle sprained his ankle. I came for herbs to help him heal. He glances at her basket, impressed by her effort. Let me drive you back. I was coming to see you anyway. She hands him the heavy basket, relieved. Thanks, I'm exhausted from the heat. They stop at a roadside stall, the photos showing them sipping tea under a weathered thatch roof, the faint hum of crickets weaving through the air. James opens her drink with a gentle twist. Tough day. She nods, her voice soft. I went after the rain stopped, but it got scorching fast out there. He sighs, running a hand through his hair. Work's been rough, the mill's a mess, all thanks to John's blunders. I'll fix it though. Diep touches his hand gently, her touch a quiet promise. I'm with you always, no matter what comes. The forest shadows deepen around them, hinting at unseen threats lurking just beyond the tree-line. A silent warning in the twilight. Night envelopes the village in a profound velvety darkness, the uploaded photos showing Diep stepping cautiously into the elderly couple's humble home, her arms overflowing with bundles of freshly gathered herbs, their rich, earthy scent permeating the cramped, dimly lit space like a whisper of the forest. Uncle, Aunt, where are you? She calls gently, her voice a soft ripple that dances across the stillness, echoing faintly as she places the leaves on the weathered wooden table, its surface a tapestry of scars and stains from decades of use. The couple shuffles in slowly, their frail figures emerging from the shadows, their faces etched with the deep exhaustion of a grueling day toiling in the sodden fields, their clothes damp and clinging to their tired bodies like a second skin. Oh, you're back! The aunt exclaims, her eyes brightening with a sudden surge of relief and gratitude at the sight of the herbs, a rare glimmer of hope piercing through the weariness that clouds her gaze. Diep smiles warmly, tucking a stray lock of hair behind her ear with a practiced motion. I'll split this for Uncle's ankle. Wrap it warm tonight, and we'll add more tomorrow to speed the healing and keep the swelling down. She moves to a quiet corner of the room, her hands moving with a quiet, practiced expertise as she prepares a paste, the images capturing her grinding the leaves with a small stone over a flickering fire, the crackle of the flames blending harmoniously with the distant hoots of owls and the rustle of leaves outside. "This should ease the pain and bring down the swelling nicely," she says, testing the warmth against her wrist with a careful touch. The uncle nods slowly, his voice a raspy whisper that carries the weight of his years. "Thanks, dear. You're a godsend in this endless mess we're stuck in." Diep heads to the kitchen, her steps light despite the day's toll. "I'll cook some greens. Rice is ready from earlier, so we'll have a warm meal." The photos show her stirring a pot with a wooden spoon, the steam rising in delicate, swirling patterns as the couple washes their hands at a chipped basin, their movements slow but infused with a quiet, heartfelt appreciation that speaks volumes. "Uncle, let me wrap your ankle now," Diep offers, kneeling beside him with the warm paste cradled in her hands, her fingers steady despite the exhaustion creeping into her bones. He winces, his breath catching in a sharp gasp. "It's still sore, throbbing like a drum, but go ahead, do your magic, child." She applies it with a careful, almost reverent precision, the images showing his lined, weathered face softening as the heat seeps deep into the swollen joint, easing the persistent ache that has plagued him since the fall. "It's hot, but it'll work wonders if we keep it up through the night," she assures, adjusting the wrap with a gentle touch that belies her strength. The aunt watches from the doorway, her lips curving into a tender, maternal smile that crinkles the corners of her eyes. "You're like a daughter to us. More than we ever dreamed we'd have in these hard times." Diep blushes, her cheeks flushing with a warm glow. "I'm happy to help. You've given me a safe haven when I had nowhere else to turn, and I can't thank you enough." After dinner, the photos capture the family gathered around the rickety table, its legs wobbling slightly under the weight of shared plates, the child engrossed with the toy Diep brought, giggling softly as the wooden pieces click together in a playful rhythm that fills the room with a fleeting joy. Diep checks the ankle again, her fingers light and sure as she assesses the progress. "A few more wraps and it'll heal fast. No cuts, so it's promising. We'll keep the swelling at bay with each application." The uncle chuckles, his voice a gravelly rumble that resonates with gratitude. "You've got a healer's touch, girl. Where'd you pick up such skills in a world this rough?" She laughs softly, her eyes drifting to a memory of her past. "My mom taught me a few tricks back home, simple remedies passed down. It's the least I can do for you both after all you've done to shelter me." The aunt adds, her tone a blend of gentleness and concern that carries the weight of a mother's worry. "Stay safe out there. Those woods are wild and unpredictable, especially after dark with the rain still fresh." Diep nods with a confident assurance. "I will. Let's get you to bed, Uncle. Rest will do wonders alongside the wraps." The images show her supporting him to a worn chair, his limp more pronounced with each step, the night outside deepening with the chorus of crickets, the occasional hoot of an owl, and the rustle of leaves stirred by a gentle breeze. Later, alone by the window, Diep dials James, the photos capturing her silhouette framed against the warm, flickering glow of a kerosene lamp, its light casting dancing shadows across the room as the soft hum of the village fades into the embrace of sleep. "James, are you home yet?" she asks, her voice soft yet tinged with a quiet longing that bridges the distance between them. He replies, the faint rumble of his car engine a background hum. "Almost there. Work was manageable today, but the mill's a headache. John's mess keeps growing like a weed I can't pull." She shares, her tone brightening with a touch of pride. "I got herbs for Uncle today. His ankle's improving with the wraps, and he's resting easier now." Dogs bark loudly in the distance, their howls piercing the night with an urgent edge, and James warns, his voice sharpening with a protective instinct, Be careful, stay inside. Something feels off out there, like trouble's brewing. She peers out into the darkness, the images showing her shadow stretching across the glass. I will. Rest well, James, I'll be here. The call ends, but the barking intensifies. A chilling reminder of the day's earlier intrusion that sends a shiver racing down her spine, her hand lingering on the window frame. Inside, the aunt calls from the kitchen, her voice a warm invitation. Diep, come eat the last of the rice before it cools. She joins them, serving the remaining portions with a careful hand. Enjoy, aunt, uncle. Let's finish together and share this moment. The child giggles, clutching the toy with sticky fingers, and the couple praises in unison, their voices overlapping in a heartfelt chorus. This meal's a gift, thank you, child, for bringing light to our table. Diep cleans up, the images showing her stacking dishes with a methodical care, her mind drifting to James, the mill's uncertain fate, and the shadow of danger that looms ever closer with each passing hour. Unbeknownst to her, the fake police regroup in the shadows beyond the village outskirts, the uploaded photos showing their figures huddled over a crude, hand-drawn map under the faint, wavering glow of a flashlight, its beam cutting through the thick darkness. She's slippery as an eel, the leader growls, his scar glinting like a silver thread as he slams Diep's photo onto the damp ground with a frustrated thud. We'll hit harder next time, bring backup, better disguises, and a tighter plan. She can't hide forever, not with what she knows. His companions nod, their faces grim and set with determination, plotting their next move as the night grows colder, their breaths visible in the chill. Back at the house, Diep lingers by the door, the images showing her listening intently to the night sounds, the rustle of leaves stirred by a restless wind, the distant bark of dogs, the occasional snap of a twig, her instincts on edge, a primal sense of unease settling in her chest. The uncle limps over, his hand resting heavily on her shoulder, his voice thick with emotion. You've saved me from this pain, girl.
Had been like, and I could tell by her stories and the warmth of her tone of voice that she, too, had a happy marriage. Then it was my turn, and all I could do was cry as I told the story of my own husband's battle with cancer and chronic pain. As uncle, I'm used to asking people what they have learned from their experiences, so it was natural for me to ask her for advice on what happened her deal with the crushing grief. Obviously, she has been doing something right to be so full of vitality and joy after such a short time.